Hello, welcome to my channel where I put very strong accent on PC hardware, and today I wanted to talk about three very serious problems NVIDIA has at the moment. One problem is very well known, everybody talks about this, is VRAM limitation on NVIDIA cards. And as you can see, this is AMD slide showing how much VRAM some games need for 4K. I understand most people don't play at 4K, but you can translate this to lower resolution as well. What is interesting on this slide is how heavy ray tracing is. Ray tracing is supposed to be NVIDIA big advantage, but if it's so heavy on VRAM, it's becoming just a gimmick. You cannot use it. So that's a funny, you get a funny situations where AMD cards can perform better at ray tracing than NVIDIA cards because of more VRAM. So yeah, here you've got hardware unbox comparing very popular 3070 to a professional card A4000, which is about the same card, but with double the VRAM and for professionals. So people may have an impression, okay, so double the VRAM, way more expensive because VRAM is very expensive. Well, professional cards are made for professionals to make money. So NVIDIA can charge them more. The theory is they don't put that much VRAM on 3070 to not hit the cells, to not damage the cells of their professional cards, but not because VRAM is that much more expensive. But that's a theory. I don't know if it's true, but it does make sense, that theory. Now, here Daniel Ovens talking about Jedi Survivor, when at the moment when I'm recording this video, this game is not out yet. But it doesn't really matter that much, because what matters is the point, what he's claiming, that it's very VRAM heavy game and it's very CPU heavy. And that's a very bad combination for NVIDIA, because NVIDIA put less VRAM on their card, like everybody knows, but also not everybody knows that NVIDIA have CPU drivers overhead. What it means that NVIDIA drivers itself need more CPU power to operate. And in games that are CPU heavy, or if you are CPU bottleneck because you upgraded your card and you kept your old CPU, you may be hit hard because of that. So this is interesting one. And here more big YouTubers talking about this, like Hardware Unbox comparing AMD and NVIDIA cards with older CPUs and claiming that AMD can be 20-30% faster if you are CPU limited. Here is Adore TV talking about the same problem of NVIDIA. Here is Linus Tech Tips talking about upgrading your card and suggesting that if you upgrade your GPU but you want to keep your rest of your PC, then maybe AMD is a better choice because of that. Also, I found a small channel with very fascinating comparison. He doesn't have many views, it's a small channel, but the video is truly fascinating. So he compares very popular CPU, very popular GPU to an older and weaker AMD card. And look at the results here, like this one, Hogwarts Legacy. Of course, not every game is like that. We're talking about CPU heavy games. This one is. And look, this is a weaker card with better performance. That shouldn't be possible unless you are CPU limited and the card put more load on a CPU. Here is the new Witcher update again. So there's no point to spend extra money on NVIDIA card if you are CPU bottlenecked. And that's a very popular and not that old CPU. So yeah, interesting. Now, the third problem is maybe even the biggest one for NVIDIA, potentially, I don't know, that there is more and more AMD sponsored games or developers prioritizing AMD cards. That was never a case before. Normally developers develop for NVIDIA because everybody has NVIDIA. Nobody cares about AMD. The market share of AMD is tiny, so that wouldn't be wise for developers to develop for AMD. However, it's slowly changing because AMD sponsored those games. And if that's gonna happen, maybe we're gonna see some crazy results. And just to give you an example, the Resident Evil or the Capcom series have only FSR, not DLSS. And there is more games like that. That's not the only developer. And look at this slide. I understand this is an outlier and it's an exception, but this is much weaker card that loses at everything else against 4090. But this is from a big developer. It's a very popular game. So I made some investigation how it's even possible that a card that is weaker at everything can win with this monster here. Is it CPU bottleneck? This is CPU overhead? What's the reason? And I asked on Reddit and people gave me different answer. CPU drivers overhead can be one of the reasons, but there are other reasons that I wasn't aware. I thought this card is just way weaker than this one at everything technically, but it's not actually the case. There is one thing here, I don't even understand these numbers, but people were talking about this, so I'm just sharing with you. Maybe you can investigate and tell me as well in the comments below. So this is FP16, so kind of theoretical performance, and it's 122 teraflops, and 4090 have this one at 82, which is about this one 50% more. So it's also XTX. It's got slightly bigger pixel rate than 4090. Like, I don't even know what does it mean, but it's got bigger, so unusual. Also, people pointed out that AMD card has got more and different way of arranging cache memory. So it's 4 levels in total, and higher amount for XTX, AMD XTX, that 4090. So that's, I find interesting as well. I didn't know that. So maybe NVIDIA can be in trouble, maybe AMD can win. You know, this is quite big gap over here, but maybe something gonna change, you know, you never know. So is NVIDIA in trouble? You know, the sales shows that nobody cares about NVIDIA. Everybody's skipping this generation. But at the same time, nobody cares about AMD as well. So who knows? Everybody's skipping this generation or moving to consoles. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and bye.